Hi everyone, my name is Miles. I'm one of the Jocks Meet Players, the group that's responsible for producing the show. We want to welcome you all to Girls Like That. First things first, I know you have a mask. Are we all good? All masked up? Okay, perfect. So we want to start with a brief content warning. This show does include strong language, as well as bullying, assault, misogyny, mentions of suicide, flashing lights, and other themes that may not be appropriate for all audiences. So, if it's ever too much, please feel free to step outside the room. Additionally, if you'll flip over those red, pinkish packets that we handed out, you'll see a list of resources for anyone that's concerned or curious about any of the topics or themes that are brought up in the show. We'd also like to take the time to understand that this show will not give a universal representation of what girlhood means for many girls across the nation. And though it will show one story of the teenage girl experience, it will not show all. Experiences differ based on race, class, religion, physical appearance, and a host of other things. And that must be actively understood when engaging with a piece like this. It's our hope that we can do justice to a show of this magnitude. What you'll see will be girls that have extremely nasty behavior. It shows the danger of misogyny, double standards, and the trap that is laid out for women and girls across the world that teaches them that they have an active hand in their own oppression, instead of the continuous and perpetual victims of it. So when you see these girls tear each other down, rip each other apart, contribute to their own pain, just know that that's in response to the patriarchal and misogynistic system that pits them against each other day after day. That is not, in any way, meant to minimize the pain, but to contextualize it. These characters, brought to you by our extremely talented cast, will be hateful, nasty, and sometimes outright cruel. But it's our job as producers and an audience to let that not reflect on the actors themselves. Their characters. This is a performance. This entire process has been one maintained by love, compassion, and grace shown by everyone involved. These people love each other to the fullest extent. And that must be known when watching this show. That is what Girls Like That is. Whew, okay, now that we've gone through that, the show will start momentarily. There will be a 15-minute intermission, and during that time, please feel free to get up and engage with the art pieces on the floor, the collage and the graffiti. The cast and crew made it themselves, and they take pride in it, so make sure you look. And finally, silence all phones, anything that makes a buzz, a click, or a pop. Oh! Enjoy the show?
Slutty Scarlet!
Scarlet the Harlot!
When Scarlett arrives, her hair is in these two messy pigtail braids, and she has Kool-Aid stained around her mouth. We are 5 years old.
I am by the sandbox making a princess castle that more accurately resembles a large horse's shit.
I am by the water tub. I like the way the water feels when it runs through the little blonde hairs on my wrist.
I'm sitting on the carpet picking my nose, unsure why the lady who looks like Nanny McPhee has replaced my mother when another girl makes a beeline straight for me. She sits right next to me, our knees touching, and I know I'm special. I have been chosen. My mother told me not to pick my nose in public. My mother told me not to bite my nail.
My mother told me not to be so loud.
What my mother told me means nothing on the first day of reception at St. Helens School for Girls.
Clearly, my mother is an idiot. I have been duped because the girl picking her nose with the chewed down pinky is now sitting next to the most popular girl in class. I will never listen to my mother again.
St. Helens is a special school. I know this because my mommy told me so.
St. Helens is a special school because it only accepts 18 5-year-olds each year, selected for our gifted academic ability and creative potential to think outside the box. Demonstrated through a test with questions like, Sophie has a car with only one working door. She has 5 friends who each take 45 seconds to get in and get in their seats. How many of them will be seated 90 seconds after Sophie unlocks the car door?
All of them, the car's a convertible.
St. Helens is special because me and these 18 girls, we in school for 7 years together, always the same classmates, the same 20 girls, forming long-lasting friendships and bonds of sisterhood and camaraderie.
My mommy would call this special. I would call this hell.
18 girls from different parts of the city, different backgrounds who otherwise may have never crossed paths.
If only.
But here at St. Helens in this great classroom, we will become a family.
An old Navy ad. In prison.
I live on a farm. We have chickens. Every time we get some new hens, it starts again. It lasts no more than 5 minutes, but they battle it out to determine the pecking order. They jump on each other's backs, pull feathers out with each other's beaks, push each other with their chests. They go until it's clear who goes where in the hierarchy. My older brother, he's 7. He always cries whenever this happens, tries to pull him apart, plays the referee. I am a 5-year-old girl. Stand back and watch. I understand.
At St. Helens, we are civilized little girls. We humans are much more clever than hens. We're not moved by it, you know it. The pecking order. Who's at the top? Who's in the middle? Who's at the bottom?
Just as every other girl in the city knows it, is sitting in their own classroom, eyeing up the others, smelling the others, determining what will be the rest of their lives.
I'm in the middle, a comfortable place to be. I'd recommend to any 5-year-old that this is the wisest place to be.
Definitely.
Scarlett's at the bottom, full stop.
I joined the others on the carpet for circle time. I don't know if it's for a game or maybe we just do it instinctively. But we reach out to our neighbors, interlock fingers, an unspoken pact sealed. These girls are my friends. My mother told me these girls are my friends for life.
And she's got chocolate on her fingers from breakfast.
And she's got bits of Play-Doh on her fingernails.
And her hands are wet from the water tub.
But we let it pass. It's the first day and we're happy to be here. 18 special girls. 18 little girls holding hands.
We're in history when it comes.
Miss is droning on, highlighting keywords on the board, and every time she raises her arm to write, you like see her turkey arm through the opening of her sleeve. Like, someone should really tell her it's illegal for 50-year-olds to wear short sleeves.
Maybe I'll, like, write her a note or something. Anonymously, of course, but as a courtesy. Like,
I'm texting a boy. There are no boys in history. High school is mixed, so we can see the snail species in the hallways and stuff. Making sure we don't turn out to be lesbians. But other than that, it's just us girls, and there are other girls too. 3 schools feeding to St. Margaret's, and so it's nice. Like, really nice to have my primary school friends with me.
the St. Helen girls. The St. Helen girls. Or the Satan Hell girls, as some of the others call us. As a joke, we know.
It's nice to have girls that really know me, that remember in year 3 when I won the singing competition with my rendition of Since You've Been Gone.
It's nice to have girls that remember our field trip in the 5th grade when the bus broke down and we had a slumber party on the bus.
Girls remember the swim relay when I came in first.
Girls who remember the music teacher's meltdown. Girls who remember the time I laughed so hard I peed a little bit.
Girls remember the time my period went on the cafeteria bench and I refused to get up.
Girls who remember that my mom had an affair with a math teacher.
Girls who remember that I was the only one in the year not invited to the end of the year pool party.
Girls who remember when I was in the toilet and missed my entrance to school play.
Girls who remember when I put my tampon in Borden first and had to go to the hospital.
Girls who remember the time that I asked Nurse Nancy if a clitoris was a kind of dinosaur.
Girls who never forget.
Us girls are sitting in history, not listening to Miss McMuffin ramble on about voting or suffering jets or something when it comes.
Lies, click, pop,
Flash, a text,
an email, a message, a tweet.
In the classroom is brighter as the phones come alight.
It's not like I was the only one checking. Which is why, when it wouldn't have changed anything. A photo of Scarlett, naked.
Buzz, click, pop, flash, OMG!
What a little slut.
What a little skank. When the chickens started attacking each other, like really going for it, they can draw blood. And that's when you need to be careful. Because if the other chickens see blood, they will turn into murderers. So what you need to do is you buy this antiseptic spray purpose that the other chickens do not notice the blood. Otherwise, they will peck that chicken to death. I think it's maybe because a vulnerable chicken puts the entire flock at risk, or something.
And it's funny.
And it's kind of sexy.
And it's ugly.
And so I delete. And it's over. Except I don't, because someone else will. Someone else definitely will. Anyway, so I
Forward, tweet, poke, send,
send,
forward,
Tweet.
poke,
send,
Buzz.
click, pop, flash.
It's not like I sent out the photo in the first place. If a photo was taken and no one was there to see it, was it like really taken? I mean, didn't Plato or someone say that?
And there's a rumor that the school internet crashes from all the activity. The rumor makes no sense whatever, since obviously you're not allowed to use school internet on your phones, and we're all using 3G.
What's definitely true is in 3 minutes of the photos being sent out, in the middle of Miss saying something about a woman who got tied up in the Senate, like some crazy 50 Shades shit or something, everyone had acquired the photo.
Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with protecting the flock at all. Maybe it's just that chickens are horrible, murderous bitches. You'd have to ask a chicken farmer, really.
When I talk to my friends so well, who we think he is, look at what you did to me. Tennis shoes don't even need to buy a new dress. If you ain't there, ain't nobody else to impress. It's the way that you know what I thought I knew. It's the beat in my heart says when I'm with you. But I still don't understand just how your love is doing no one else can. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your love got me looking so crazy right now. Got me looking so crazy right now. Your touch got me looking so crazy right now. Got me hoping you page me right now. Your kiss got me hoping you save me right now. Looking so crazy, your love got me looking so crazy, your love. Looking so crazy, your love.
The invitation reads, Mrs. Plunkett Green, Miss Ponsonby,
Mr. Edward Gaythorne Hardy and Mr. Brian Howard request the pleasure of my company at St. George's Swain Baths, Buckingham Palace Road, 11 o'clock p.m. on Friday, 12th of July, 1928. Please wear a bathing suit and bring a bath towel and a bottle. Each guest is required to show his invitation on arrival. The colors of the other girls' suits are dazzling. Some of them change suits 2 or 3 times throughout the evening. I've only brought the one, but I don't mind. I flirt with the trumpet player from the band. I flirt with one of the cocktail mixers who's also wearing a bathing costume. I even flirt with the rubber horses that float above the water. This is the single most greatest night in my life thus far. I shall never forget it. And then I see him, out of place in his full suit amongst the semi-naked bodies, eyes darting nervously, until he spots what he's looking for. Me.
I'm taking you home right now.
And then one of the other girls wanders over.
I didn't know you had a fella.
Don't. He's my brother.
Cute. I hope he's brought a bathing costume.
I haven't.
He interjects. He doesn't like being spoken about in the third person.
Well, I'll guess if you have to go nude, you'll be the first.
And she laughs. My clothes are somewhere inside, so my brother drapes his jacket around my bare arms.
We can get there tomorrow.
She's only just got here. She hasn't even swum yet.
And then he turns on her.
I'm not talking to you.
But the girl's not listening, or doesn't care.
Have you got a light?
She wants to know, a cigarette dangling from her lips. I want to avoid this, but a saxophonist is riffing, and some girls are splashing in the water, and some girls are spilling their martini glasses, and he can't contain himself.
No. And I don't think it's very ladylike to be smoking in public.
And this time, the girl hears him loud and clear. She smiles. She can't tell if he's flirting or challenging her. She doesn't care either way.
Oh, and why is that?
And now, I'm suddenly ready to go. I don't want to swim. I just want to leave. And why doesn't the band play louder? Why have they gone quiet just at the moment my brother says,
Because people will mistake you for an ordinary whore.
play, goddammit, why won't the band just play? And now, everyone is looking over. Everyone who a moment ago I was dancing with and drinking with are looking over at my 18-year-old brother. And the girl, she says,
Shall I take that as a no then? You don't have a light.
and then the music starts up again. Only, it's not the music playing. It's not the band. It's the people. And they're not singing. They're laughing. My brother has underestimated his audience. Because if he looked around, he'd have noticed girls all over the pool shamelessly smoking. And the girls laugh even harder. And even I can't help it. I start laughing too. I'm laughing so hard. I don't even see it coming.
You want to act with a slut? I'll treat you like one!
My cheek is throbbing, but the effort to touch it feels too much. My face is wet, and I don't know whether it's tears or someone has splashed from the pool. So I just stand there, clutching the inside pockets of my brother's jacket. I wish I'd never come out tonight. I wish I just stayed home like a girl should. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I think our mother fought for your rights so you would behave like this.
And as I'm leaving, my bare feet on the concrete, I feel something in my hand. In the pocket. Matches. And I don't think about what I'm doing. My body takes on a life of its own, and I've turned back. Everyone's still watching. I strike a match. Fizz. Pop. And I light her cigarette. And it feels like the best thing I've ever done in my life. My brother just looks at me. The look that says, I won't forget this. The look that says, just wait until we get home. I know. I don't have a choice. jacket and dive into the pool.
Scarlet has a mole on the top of her left breast. Well, my left, her right. Or wait, would it be her left too? Because the camera does it in reverse, right? Does it? I'm confused. She probably wants to get that checked out.
It's not AIDS or something. She should probably get that removed, because you never know. And most of like girls with markings, unless they're one of those goth type who's like girls with tattoos and piercings. Or is it girls with smooth skin?
I saw a movie once though where a girl had a piercing on her clit.
On close reinspection, I decided it's actually a freckle. When you zoom in, enlarge it on your screen, you can see it's actually a freckle.
And her nipples are large. Like really. Like that's not normal, is it?
And the way she's positioned, there's like this line on her stomach, like this line of full lover on her belly, and I didn't know she was fat until now, but she is. She's fat.
Fat slut.
And I mean, like, she didn't even bother to. It's like a jungle. Like, if you're going to, at least wax beforehand. It's like a guinea pig died.
It looks pretty normal to me.
It's a dead guinea pig.
And I feel good because she's like really hairy.
And I feel good because my breasts are bigger than hers.
And I feel good because mine are smaller than her abnormally large ones.
And I feel good because her arms are really short.
And I feel good because her shoulders are bony.
I feel good because her belly button is an Audi.
And I feel good because her nail polish is chipped. And I feel good because she has a mole on her right or left breast.
And I feel good because she's a slut and not even that pretty.
There are rumors that Scarlett gave Russell a BJ after school last week. I didn't believe it at the time, but this just proves it. This is like rock hard evidence.
I knew it all along. With girls like that, you can just tell.
And the thing with rumors is that they would be rumors if there wasn't at least some truth in them. Like, they wouldn't have come about in the first place if it wasn't, say, 70% true. So, like, maybe it wasn't in the bathroom, or maybe it wasn't after school. That's the 30% that might be wrong. But she definitely gave him a blowjob. That's what matters.
Miss was still talking about feminism, and the word reminds me of femidom, like Nurse Nancy told us about. And so I started laughing. When she asked me why I started laughing, I told her I had a disability.
Well, I secretly took a photo in this, and while she was blubbering on about voting, I put her face on Scarlett's naked body. My mom once got detention for making a cartoon drawing of one of her teachers, but I'm not worried. My phone is password protected.
At lunch, the corridor is buzzing, is popping, and boys are smirking. The first moments of lunch, when the classes come tumbling together and the sexes spill out, reminds me a bit of when I used to work at the dog's home. The dogs were all anxious to get out of their cages. They can't sit still. They barely come at it. It's tentative. Backs against the cages, against the lockers. Pretty soon, everyone's over. They're all humping and smelling each other's asses.
Girls like immaculate hair,
Boys steal furtive glances while pretending to talk to their friends.
holding tight to the straps of their backpack if they're cool to the bomb.
And they might combust.
A boy says.
Yes, I know what I'm doing tonight.
Another laughs and says.
Wank bang! Sluts? Or
But that's not the boys. That's the weirdest. Because while the girls are cutting, pasting, analyzing, comparing insights and thoughts about Scarlett, well, the boys, they're not doing much of anything. They're just smirking. Like fucking buffoons. Like they, you know. And one of them finally speaks.
I tapped it!
Tyler, that's what he says.
And even though she's a...
I don't think you should be looking at that. Maybe he likes Scarlett? Or maybe he's drunk? Or maybe he's looking for a fight.
But Jay's not the fighting type. He's not a boy like that. He's just a boy who happens to be in his locker.
You what? You what? You got a little hard on for it, didn't you? Want the photo all to yourself. Hey,
Like he's above it or something? Though, he's probably lying. Everyone's seen it.
Well, here, bro. Share and share alike. No thanks.
What?
It's just that I don't think it's any of my business.
Bro, are you gay?
Oh, that's what you want. Or parents think he's Jay. Because it rhymes with gay.
Oh! put him on their shoulders.
What matters is Jay has temporarily set everything off balance. He has told them there is no Santa Claus. He has questioned gravity. The cosmos need to be realigned.
You know, maybe if it was a photo of you, Tyler, then you'd look.
Oh, is that a gay day? Are you saving your eyes from my... And before he can finish with some awful metaphor for his genitals, Jay does it. He looks at the photo. And I'm a bit angry about how easily he gives in. How easy he sighs and looks.
I knew it! You totally got a boner for it, do you? You tap, right?
Yeah, I tell you.
And even from where I'm standing, I can hear the monotone. He'd make a terrible actor. Jay goes, and I wait for the boys to talk about Jay and to talk about what's just happened. But they don't. It's like it didn't happen. Kiss, Mary, kill.
And then the hallway goes silent. Like, completely.
And it reminds me of the time that I met Lady Gaga. Well, not really met, but you know what I mean. And I had this CD cover of Gaga's face with her design, and like there she was, like 2 feet in front of me. And it was really her from the cover. Just a little less, I don't know. I mean, she was still as hot and as cool as on the cover, but just a little bit more normal. And then there's Scarlett staring up at me from my phone screen, and there she is, 2 feet in front of me. And the 2 images, the 2 Scarletts, they're just different is all. One's a bit more human, though I'm not entirely sure which one. And another thing about boys is that they have no social awareness. Like, they are completely socially unaware. Like, they do not have what my mother would call tact.
Because us girls, we don't say anything. Not to her face, at least. Because that would just be outrageous.
That would be completely rude. And so we say nothing. And Scarlett says, hey, and it's kind of to all of us and none of us.
Hey, but we don't say anything.
Because we're not like people.
No. We just pretend she's not there.
Personally, I don't think she was actually talking to me.
Nor to me.
Personally, I don't think she was talking to any of us. It was really just a hey, just a sound.
The problem with girls like that is that they give all girls a bad name. The problem with girls like that is that they ruin it for everyone.
The problem with girls like that is that their reputation is contagious. And if you hang around girls like that, it's not necessarily that you start behaving like she does. We're all young, intelligent women. We have minds of our own. But people will think you do. And that's worse, really. Like, we watched a movie called The Hunger Games where we learned about bystanders who watched, stood by, and even though they weren't performing the acts themselves, by just, like, being there, doing nothing, it's like they're condoning it. And this is a bit like that. Like, if I hang out with her, I'm approving of her behavior. And it wasn't planned, but we all just turn away, like turn our backs. All the St. Helens girls silently turning. And I feel part of something, you know? I feel so deeply connected to these girls that I grew up with. And that is so nice. These girls will be my friends for life.
And I'm gutted I didn't film it. Because it looked beautiful. Ballet almost. It felt beautiful. And my locker's open, so even though my back's turned, I can still see her eyes through the mirror. And Scarlett just stands there, willing our backs to turn with her eyes, or something like a witch.
And then she turns and looks to Russell.
Russell! Tussle hair, Russell!
Rusty.
Kiss, Mary, kill, bedhead Russell, football Russell, or dining hall eating Russell.
And that look, before he even says anything, confirmed for me the rumors.
And I can't see what her look was, as I can only see the back of her head. Bleeding, flirting, accusing.
Again? I'm a bit worn out, Scarlett.
I never understood the high five. I tried it when I was 12. Started high-fiving my best friend every time I saw her or made a joke, but it never really took off.
Boys can be such dicks.
God, Russell did you so much better than actually say. Everybody gets an STI or something crazy.
And as she slinks away, I feel really sorry. We all do, I think. Maybe it's not all her fault. Maybe for her, they're just, taught better.
and dirty and smelly so people will not come to the local pool. I am fairly certain this is a conspiracy put in place by the mustache man who yells at us for swimming in the wrong lane.
We are 8 years old.
It's someone's birthday party and we're all there. That's the kind of person we are.
We are all there because the 4 mothers of the 4 girls who weren't invited spoke to the mother of the girl who did the inviting. It wasn't me. I'm invited to everything on account of my mother being a local politician.
50% of the girls wear one pieces, 50% wear bikinis.
2 pieces, not bikinis.
I change in the corner so no one can really see me.
I change in the middle, using other girls' bodies as a shield. I change wherever, because comparatively, I'm definitely one of the skinnier ones.
And for a moment, I'm worried I'll grow up to be fat.
For a moment, I'm worried I'll grow up and become a lesbian.
For a moment, I'm worried I'll grow up to be a cat lady who lives all by herself.
For a moment, I'm worried I'll never be pretty enough to have a boyfriend. But then we're in the pre-showers and the water is freezing and we all scream! And we forget. Someone's not talking to Scarlett.
And Scarlett's not talking to someone else.
And someone else isn't talking to someone else.
And I'm really not sure what happened, but I have to take someone's side. So I take someone else's side. And then we all reshuffle so someone doesn't have to stand near Scarlett.
And someone, maybe me, has to act as a messenger, passing messages between the two.
And then we go swimming. 18 throwing cannon bodies floating in the water. We see how long we can hold our breath. We are mermaids.
Scarlett has brought swimming Barbie that comes with waterproof makeup. And the fight, whatever it was about, is forgotten.
And then we take turns. And then one of us takes turns pretending to be Ken asking Barbie on a date. We take turns to see who can make the bestest line.
Hey Barbie, wanna go for a ride in my convertible? Hey Barbie, you gotta be the prettiest girl I ever did see. If you don't got me, I'll kill myself. Hey Barbie,
I really kiss you with
so.
love.
Hey Barbie.
And Ken always has a surfer accent. We've never heard Ken speak before, but we decide he's such a hunk, he must be from California.
And we do these somersault things over the rings that divide the lane. And Mustache Man yells at us. So we take turns touching the rings while the other girls distract him.
Girls gotta stick together, right? And he can't catch us, can't stop us, because we are 18 and he is 1. And we are only 8 and he is more than that, and still, we are smart.
Full up on pizza and cake and fizzy pop, we run to the park next door and lie down there in the grass.
And we lay our heads on each other's bellies. My head on her belly, hers on hers.
Hers on hers.
Hers on hers.
Hers on hers. And hers on hers.
Like a giant zigzagging water snake.
And we close our eyes to the flashing sun and listen to each girl's belly breaths. In, out, in, out. And it is quiet.
And then some girl laughs, her belly vibrating into some other girl's wet hair.
So then she in turn starts laughing, and then she in turn, and then she in turn. And soon there are 20 chuckling bellies, heads bouncing up and down, and still we keep our eyes closed, and we laugh for what feels like hours. Because we're in love with swimming and summer, and each other and Ken. We are Barbie, we are mermaids, we are indestructible.
After school, Scarlett is nowhere to be seen.
Scarlett, the harlot.
Like, no one has seen her since lunch.
If I were her, I'd totally kill myself. Talk about embarrassing, I just couldn't, you know?
And I'm a bit worried. We're all a bit worried because you hear stories and stuff, and it's just a stupid picture. She wouldn't do something so stupid over a picture.
Someone says we should call her. Maybe me, maybe one of the others. It doesn't really matter. What matters is we call her. All of us. Put her on the phone on speaker.
Hello?
Scarlett?
Hello?
Yeah, Scarlett?
Gotcha. You've reached Scarlett 3M. You know what to do. And if you don't, I can't help you.
She's not there, and we're worried, naturally, so we leave a message.
Hello, Scarlett. This is a message for Scarlett Smith. This is Playboy magazine. We loved your photos and would love for you to pose for us, so give us a call.
We hang up.
We call again. We hang up.
We call again. We hang up.
We call again.
We call again, we call again, we call again, we call again.
This is, Happy Magazine?
This is Pet House magazine. This is Nuts magazine.
This is Loaded magazine.
This is, Zoom magazine. This is, FHM magazine. This is, New Statesman magazine.
That's a political magazine, you idiot.
I heard my dad say it once.
No, sorry, wrong number.
We hang up. We call again.
We hang up. We call again.
We call again, we call again, we call again, we call again, we call.
On the way home, I bought Thrasher magazine.
On the way home, I buy Heat magazine.
On the way home, I buy an OK and an album and a Hello Kitty to get all three in one package now, which is quite a good deal actually.
Kim Kardashian has gained a ton of weight and has cellulite, which is a shame because she was doing so well on her post-kid diet, and now she looks disgusting.
And Cheryl Cole has lost a stone in her ring and has the ideal body. So of course, Ashley Cole's jealous.
And Nicki Minaj is looking unhealthily skinny, and an insider friend is worried about her.
And Drake is now single, and so is Celia Lauder, and so is Justin Bieber. We're all looking for a girl who knows how to have fun but doesn't take herself too seriously.
Kiss, marry, kill. Drake, Lautner, or Bieber.
You probably shouldn't believe everything you read in those magazines. Probably not even true. Probably all have girlfriends.
At home, someone sends me the Scarlet photo. You're a bit behind the times, my friend. I look at it again anyways.
I look at it again.
I look at it again.
I read the comments people posted on her Facebook page.
And I look at it again.
My mom asked me what I'm looking at.
I tell her nothing.
I tell her homework.
I don't tell her anything.
She doesn't actually want to know.
She's grading 11th grade essays. She's making a PowerPoint.
She's on the phone whining about some bitch from work who stole her promotion. She's telling my father about the girl who's taking off at a most inconvenient time for the company.
She's on the phone telling grandma about the girl from work has to leave at 3 o'clock every day to pick up her kids, talk about a lack of commitment.
She's telling me about the slutty girl whose skirt was so short you could almost see the brand of her underwear.
She's telling no one in particular how she got ID'd at the liquor store buying wine. Thank you very much.
Never actually asked. She isn't home.
Flash!
A photo has come through. Someone else who's behind the times.
Except this time it's not Scarlett. A different photo. Russell, completely naked.
Let me give you some advice. Don't drink coffee before you fly. I tell ya, I couldn't live without my morning cup of joe. But nothing worse than being 7,000 feet in the air. Clouds everywhere, no navigation equipment or radio waves, thinking, I don't know how much longer before I piss myself. And I'm trying to tell this to the man I've been assigned for the day, drinking a steaming hot cup. It's February 1945, just another morning like any other at Airport Transport Auxiliary. Oh, only today it's a Hudson I got to deliver for maintenance, which means there's got to be two of us. Me and this guy. And I'm trying to tell him, give him some advice, so I'm not even worried about him needing to
to World at War, Britain being bombed, and to top it off, we got some last flying planes. As though I'm the only one. As though 650 ATA pilots and 164 aren't women. But, I can see a stubborn so-and-so from a mile away. And sometimes all you can do is sit back and say, okay, you got a penis, you know best. And sometimes, when he's not looking, you gotta slip a laxative in his cup. It's about an hour later, and I'm ready to go. Oh, but he's not feeling so good. So they get some other pilot. Let's just say he's much more amenable. I'm getting ready to take off, and I see the guy again. Face ashen. So I tell him, shoulda listened to my advice. Told you not to drink before you fly. Russell's as we imagined. He goes to the gym. He plays football.
It's as I imagined! That's not to say I spent my days picturing Russell naked. But if I did, that's what he'd look like. Like he does.
And let's just say, the boy's nickname for him, Big Rock, is clear it has nothing to do with his low fast food.
And when everyone said that he was a little bit ginger, I said, no, he's definitely blonde, that I was right. Thank God.
He should work in like Hollister or something.
What's 100% certain is that it was Scarlett who sent around the photo of him. A likely hypothesis is that she did it as an act of revenge. What's less clear-cut is the motive for revenge, which can be narrowed down to one of two possibilities. One, it was him who sent around the photo of her naked. Whether or not it actually was, I can neither confirm nor deny, nor is it actually important. What is important is she believes it to be the case. Or two, for embarrassing her in the hallway yesterday in front of everyone. What is definite is this photo of Russell has made its way around the entire school.
We should know this because girls are laughing and boys are yelling.
Man
In
whore!
the hallways, and Russell's standing alone by his locker with his head down. Except, that's not what's happening. That's not how we know.
We know because a girl is heard saying,
I've changed my mind. I want to marry Russell instead of kiss him. Is it too late to change?
and a boy is heard stating,
He's a legend, dude.
And Russell's friends are high-fiving him and acting like it's any other day.
The thing, yeah, and I'm sorry to have to be the one to say this, is that Scarlett, well, she's obviously dumber than she acts.
She obviously didn't get it. It's fine for boys to leave, you know?
Like they're supposed to be, right? Like it's part of their DNA, like their puberty, like blue balls or something. Is that right?
It's nature. It's not just chickens and cocks. Like, I was watching the BBC the other day, and there would be like 12 female elephants per one male elephant, and one male for all those females. And like the female elephants will have sex with that one male for their entire lives. But the one male, well, you do the math. It's how things are meant to be. If you don't believe me, ask David Attenborough.
My brother said, if a key can open lots of locks, it's a really good key, like a master key. But if a lock can be opened by lots of keys, then it's a really shit lock. Do you see?
maybe this is what Scarlett has failed to understand. Her mom probably didn't teach her.
Boys will be boys.
A boy like Russell, a boy that can't help himself.
A boy like that has to try before he buys.
A boy like that who'd kill your brother. Forget that boy and find another. A boy like that wants only one thing, and when he's done, he'll leave you alone.
Actually, those are just the lyrics from West Side Story.
Yeah. Well, I was in need on account of there being no Puerto Ricans at the school, and my being in Spanish.
There's a group of boys looking at the photo. But it's weird because like they're looking at it but not. Like they keep flicking their eyes away as if staring at it too long will make their eyes burn.
Like they're afraid.
Like they're scared of being caught looking at it by other boys.
And looking at this group of boys, you think that none of them actually really saw it. If you hadn't seen one of them alone in the cab line later, secretly
looking at it again.
And if we hadn't noticed the subtle changes that day, a boy flexing his arm down, casually trying to check his bicep.
A boy lifting up his shirt to scratch his stomach, but actually checking his abs or lack thereof.
A boy buying a salad for lunch. A boy swiping a ruler from math so he can see how he measures up.
A boy with no facial hair at CVS buying an electric razor to his pubes.
Miss is explaining this project we have to do next year. We've got to trace our family's history, specifically our family email history, whatever that means. I don't think. Doodling on the photo Russell naked. One of them has a colored printer at home. So.
And they're drawing a picture of their name onto the appendage when Miss comes and confiscates it, and I bet it's the first time she's ever seen one.
I bet it is. I bet she's still a virgin.
And before she even has time to ask, one of the two girls or someone says, Scarlett sent it round.
And Miss asks Scarlett if it's true. And one of the other girls starts to speak, but Miss silences her. I'm asking Scarlett. And I can't help but think of that scene from The Crucible. That's the school play we're doing this year. I'm playing John Proctor on account of there not being enough boys who audition. And there's that one scene where I say, tell the truth, to my wife. Just like Miss is saying now. And our not being condemned to death hangs on what comes out of her mouth.
Except this is not what's happening. Because Scarlett knows she's condemned no matter what. So when Miss asks her, did you send to tell the truth? She says,
Sure.
Sure. Not yes, not no, but...
And it's weird because for a moment I thought maybe she didn't. Like, if she protested her innocence, I'd have thought for sure she'd have done it. Liar. But her just...
maybe she thinks in taking the blame she will win favor with the girls?
Maybe she knows the principal's office is safer than the halls.
Or maybe she knows whether or not she did it or whether or not it's true. Doesn't matter because it's already been decided.
Or maybe she thinks this will end it. And the past 2 days will be forgotten. A distant memory.
And that's what I mean about Scarlett being dumber than she acts. Bless her. I actually feel really bad because still, after all these years, she hasn't learned that St. Helens girls never forget. She thinks this is the end, but it's just the beginning. And there's nothing, not one of us can do to stop it.
I get my period. Thank fuck I'm not the last. So, Sir says I don't have to go swimming. And I realize this will be a convenient excuse in future PE lessons.
We're all getting changed. Nervous in our new school that has a swimming pool.
We are 11 years old, and although we are quiet pretending to focus on the arduous task of putting on swimsuits, we are really focusing at taking little glances at each other.
See, Elf has hair down there.
Who else doesn't really have boobs yet?
Who's wearing a sports bra?
Who's wearing no bra?
And who's wearing a real bra? No one, except Scarlett.
And in the change room after swim, she starts like putting on this lotion because her skin's dry, she says. This lotion smells like strawberries.
And this cherry-smelling Vaseline on her lips because her lips are dry, she says.
And it's like waving a steak rub around when my dogs wandered off. She'll walk down the hallway and the boys will come running.
Which is just the strangest thing because this is Scarlett. Scarlett wasn't even the first to be the bus get out accessory. She wasn't invited to a party. She was the last to be picked.
And she has this confidence, this quiet confidence, even when she's getting dressed for swim. And it's like, where did that come from? And it starts that she starts making these jokes that she's a comedian. But yeah, she makes jokes. And the boys always flock, like bees to honey. Bees don't flock, they swarm. Sweating through their tight shirts, nervously running their hands through their faux, messy, gelled, coiffed hair, annoyingly fingering the branded bands of their pants.
And all the boys are suddenly wearing boxers and like branded ones. She barely has to utter 2 words and the boys start panting, wagging their tails.
The boys are disgusting anyways. But really, we get it. We get that it's not about the boys for Scarlett. It's about the attention. For once, not being on the bottom, which is pretty pathetic if you ask me.
And we take turns showing Sir our dives. Only Scarlett makes a big, ugly splash on account of her boobs adding extra weight. Serves her right.
And Sir gives us 5 minutes free time and decides to put on classical music so we'll play calmly.
somebody gets the idea that we pretend to be synchronized swimmers, which is dumb, but we do it anyways.
We lie on our backs in the water, a circle. My arm on her shoulder and her shoulder.
On her shoulder and her shoulder.
On her shoulder and her shoulder.
And we kick our legs up in the air.
It only lasts for a moment before we all go underwater. The weight of someone else's hands on our shoulders is drowning us. But for a moment, it's the prettiest thing you ever saw.
My sister is asking why. Like I know. I did wonder about it though, for a minute like, when I got the photo. Probably it was a boy, Russell. Probably he made her feel like if she didn't, he'd lose interest. But some others would.
Probably, he said he'd be her boyfriend if she did.
Probably, he threatened to tell everyone they'd slept together. Or, no. Probably he made her feel special or something.
Probably he said it was just a bit of fun.
Probably he said, show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Probably he made her feel pretty. Probably he made her feel like the most beautiful girl in the world. Or maybe he didn't. Probably he made her feel ugly. Probably he made her feel like she could never get a guy like him.
Probably he made her feel worthless. Probably he rejected her. Probably he said he regretted what they'd done. Probably she thought if I just flash, click, buzz, then he'll pay attention.
Or maybe it wasn't a boy. Maybe she just took it, just to see.
Maybe she wanted to know what she'd look like if she were a Playboy bunny. And maybe the whole thing was innocent. She can't wait to go home to leave the photo off her desk because that same thing doesn't happen to her. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind. And thank God my ex-boyfriend is a decent little guy. That's all I'm saying.
My sister's asking why. As though that somehow matters. As though that somehow changes things. She doesn't understand that this question is miles away. It's a question from another dimension. And when I ignore her, she asks, why does a photo make someone a slut? But it's too complicated to explain, so I don't.
And I'm thinking why? We're all wondering why when we see Scarlett in the hallway after school. Why didn't she just go home? Leave school? Leave the country? Move to Mozambique? And I can feel it. My mother, who has arthritis, says she can feel it when it's gonna rain. Feel it in her bones. Well, I can feel it. A storm's coming. So when Scarlett glances at me, I say, with my eyes, I say, run as fast as you can. Get away from here. But she doesn't hear me, or chooses not to. And I should probably not be here. I should probably leave. But then tomorrow I'll miss everything when everyone, there's the hope.
It's this girl I've never seen before. She doesn't go to our school, I don't think. I found out later that she'd been texting Scarlett while Scarlett was in the principal's office all afternoon. Meet me after school. And like an idiot, Scarlett comes.
Maybe her mother didn't teach her any better.
Maybe she thinks she can explain.
Maybe she thinks at least the crowded hallways will keep her protected. Well, with students and teachers.
No, but the teachers have reports to write, and those are, their doors are open. They have these invisible earplugs. They teach them that in teacher training. And for the students, we're just kids.
I heard you got with my man Russ. Is that true? And she looks to him, but he doesn't say anything.
Said, is that true, bitch?
I wonder why he doesn't say anything.
And I wonder why, if she's mad at him, why isn't she confronting him?
I kind of wonder what school she goes to. I know Russell had a girlfriend.
Are you amused or something? I'm gonna ask you one last time and stop looking at my man. Did you get with him?
We watch. Frozen.
And she says, Scarlett says, sure. She could have just said no.
She could have just run away. She could have, but she's not as dumb as she seems. Because at long last, she gets it.
As she takes in the girls she went to school with in a circle around her.
These girls she grew up with, she begins to understand that this was all determined back in nursery school.
When we were in a circle holding hands.
She understands it doesn't matter what she says, which is why she...
Sure.
There's a silence for for it feels like forever. And I know a teacher will come and ruin it, not let us see the ending. But no one does. And then some guy yells, "Hit the slut already!"
A slap doesn't sound how you think it would. It's not like in the movie. It's louder.
And suddenly, Scarlet raises her arm and scratches the girl in the face.
Scarlet's writhing in all directions, her body kicking on the ground. She can't even get up on top of her, and she comes to her hair in her hand. Pauses and looks at me.
At me, I think.
I think of me as if to say.
And the girl seizes the opportunity to get back on top, and seeing her hand, Scarlet's hand, she goes mental, like completely mental.
Even Scarlet knows she's a nut, because she just stands there and holds her head with her hands.
I'm telling you.
And I worry this girl's gonna kill her. Like if she keeps on, Scarlet.
Why won't someone do anything? I say we're doing something. Russell, do something about this.
The next week at school, someone asked Miss where Scarlet is.
Miss answers she transferred to another school.
Which means there's only 17 St. Helens girls, which is a bit of an awkward number. It's a prime number.
And it's only later that I realized Russell was the only boy there, and the person who yelled, "Hit the slut," it was a girl. It was one of us.
I've shot Bobby Kennedy. I'm telling you now. We're sitting in a park enjoying one of the few days of sunshine. It's August 1968, one of the worst summers on record. Besides, there's nothing to tell. He stares at a group of people our age, smoking in the distance. A girl dances, moving her lips to a song we can't hear, and as if she's whispered some answer to AME.
We can live with my parents.
And I laugh. I can't help it.
Well, do you
and
have-
I remember why I love him.
Do you have a better idea?
When did we become so old? We're only 16, but I feel a century, and I wonder what the next century will look like. I start thinking about the year 2000 and what a strange number that seems, and I picture us in flying cars. He's still talking. I catch the end of his diatribe when he...
We don't have a choice.
And just like that, I know that while I love him, we will not grow old together. We will not fly a car together into the next millennium because, like that, the freewheeling, laissez-faire, eco-hippie warrior I fell in love with has dropped his costume and become just another traditional boy.
We have to accept the consequences.
Last year when we met at the protest, I fell in love with the way he'd have to fill the silence, could always talk. Now it's just annoying.
Are you even sure it's mine?
I say nothing.
Listen, it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter because I'll love it anyway. We'll live with my parents and it doesn't matter.
Finally, I speak. It doesn't matter because it doesn't exist. And he gives me this look, an ugly look, a look of disdain.
Have you?
Not yet. And he's relieved. His face loves me again, and he starts talking again, but my mind is somewhere else. My mind is in some sci-fi future in the 2000s, when my daughter and I, we fly our car to Congress, where she is president, a lady president, where there's only love and not war, but even in this daydream, I know that my daughter, she's not the same one. Not this one inside me. He's still talking about his parents' loft when I say, I'm 16! And before I can say more, he's right in there as always.
16's practically an adult. My parents were married when they were 16. Listen, we're capable of making mature decisions.
And I agree. Which is why I can make this one. It's my body. And the look is back. He looks at me like I'm... And before he can say more, I'm up. I am walking away from his voice in the park. As I pass the other young people, the girl grabs my hand. She starts dancing with me. I don't hear any music. I am fairly certain it's all in her head, but I figure out the rhythm by copying her body. She leans in. For a second, I think, she's gonna kiss me. Instead, puts her lips to my ear, whispers, us girls need to stick together.
I stand in front of a full-length mirror.
To my Get Ready soundtrack.
She sings about how last Friday night we went skinny dipping, then had a menage a trois.
She sings about how chains and whips excite me.
She sings about letting her see what you're hiding underneath, letting her see your peacock, and it puts me in the mood.
I shave my pits.
I wax my legs.
I pluck my brow.
I paint my nails.
I color my lips.
I rose my cheeks.
I darken my lashes.
I straighten my hair.
I lotion my stomach.
I sparkle my arms.
I tingle my ears.
I spray my neck.
I shave.
Wax,
Block.
Paint.
Color. Rose. Darken. Straighten.
lotion, sparkle, tangle, spray.
I shave.
Wax,
Block. Paint. Color. Rose. Darken. Straighten.
lotion, sparkle, tangle, spray.
I shave.
Wax,
Block. Paint. Color. Rose. Darken. Straighten.
lotion, sparkle, tangle, spray.
And I take a photo. I hate the way I look.
I hate the way my ears stick out.
I hate how small my lips are.
I hate the little hairs above my lip. I hate the veins on my neck.
I hate my stomach, lover.
I hate my chunky ass.
I hate my small breasts.
I hate my wide hips. I hate my wrinkled knees.
I hate my stubby
I
hands.
hate my long feet.
We're still dancing and drinking.
I heard Tyler told one of the guys.
She's a tease, man. Rude.
Ice cold, ice cream, let him on.
Vamp.
Runs like that and then not, you know? What a bitch.
And I want to say it's all bullshit. I want to say it doesn't make any sense. I want to ask about the space in between. Because she's a tease because she didn't, and she'd be a slut if she did. So how did she get in the space in between? I want to be in the space in between. I want to say this, but Rihanna is swirling through my brain, and alcohol is flowing through my veins, or the other way around, and I can't really get the words to come out, but somewhere deep down I know the answer. In between doesn't exist. So I just dance, and we take a photo.
It's 2 in the morning and I can totally kill for a Big Mac right now. Like a real one, not Brussels. We all could.
There's a good chance we're all now making a big effort to keep her head down. Vodka eyes focused on different fries and the BBQ sauce. There is a good chance no one will notice.
Except someone. I don't think it's me. Someone says, look. And those skulls and foxes raise their ketchup-blushed faces in unison.
It's been a good 2 months since you've seen her. I almost don't recognize her.
What she's doing at McDonald's with some guy in the middle of the night, I can't say.
Even when we were little, we understood that the rules always applied. Unless you saw someone with their mom, and there were smiles and waves and small talk where your stupid mothers chit-chatted all day. Otherwise, the rules still apply, which is why. Someone says it quietly, she doesn't hear or pretends not to. And still, she keeps her eyes fixed dead ahead on the guy in front of her. Like if she stares hard enough, maybe she'll just disappear, or maybe we will. You know the penis game we used to play in 9th grade? Like where someone says it quietly and then someone says it a bit louder and a bit louder?
Scarlet,
Scarlet,
Scarlet.
Until the 5-year-old woman down behind the counter is looking over at us.
Scarlet!
Scarlet! Is looking over at us.
Scarlet! Scarlet! Scarlet!
And it's funny, because I can't remember the last time I played a game. And then someone goes over. Not me, I would never. I just watch.
Scarlet, how are you? Scarlet, don't you recognize me? Scarlet and I grew up together.
Scarlet still just stares ahead, like she's scared or something. Or like she's mixed us up with that girl who came after school that day. Like, in her mind, we're all the same person.
Hello? Scarlet? Is there anyone in there?
I don't understand why she doesn't just say something. It is 2013. Women have earned the right to speak. And she just stands there, eyes ahead, not blinking, like she's a statue. Statue.
And I think maybe she's died. You hear about it, but then some water starts to come out of one of her eyes when I know she's alive. Scarlett's a great photographer. Has she shown you any?
But the girl can't find it on her phone. Wah, wah, wah. And Scarlett's eyes, finally, a blink, a hint of relief of a different ending or something.
But then, another girl, or whoever it is, says, I've got it, and finds the boy's phone on her Bluetooth and presses send.
Buzz, click.
And then we leave. Also, it'll be another 30 minutes for the next night bus.
My first kiss went a little like this. And twist. And twist.
come because Tyler's parents will be there. Though you wouldn't know it. We haven't seen them all. Though, when a girl went down to the bathroom, she said she heard a loud TV. So they must be here, right?
The bottle lands on one of us, and the girl who it lands on is nervous. She's petrified. Scarlet.
What? She doesn't show it. She acts like it's every day that she gets in Brussels with the sweep-away hair. Doesn't let on that this will be the first time she's ever kissed a boy.
She doesn't let on that while she likes Russell, everyone does. This wasn't how she pictured it in her head.
A room full of girls she's grown up with, and boys she doesn't even know. Chanting.
Kiss, 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 dum, dum, dum. Kiss, 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 dum, dum, dum.
She doesn't let on that it was supposed to be on their 5th day. It was supposed to be like in the movies.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Come think of Doritos and orange Fanta. And when we finish counting back from 10, Russell says, "Want to do it again?"
She doesn't, not really, but we're all watching, and she doesn't never forget. So she...
Sure.
Later, we're sat on couches and it feels like we're kids again or something because all the boys are on one and all the girls are on the other. And of course we can't help it, so we sit on each other's knees. Our heads on other girls' legs.
We lie with our feet in other girls' laps.
And then Tyler brings out a laptop, hooks it up to the TV, and says,
Want to see something?
There are 2 men and 1 woman on the screen, all of them naked.
And at first, I don't quite understand what I'm watching.
And I don't like it.
And I want to close my eyes.
And I want to say, turn it off, please.
And I want to get up and leave, but she's sitting on my knee.
And she has her head on my legs.
And her feet are in my lap.
And I can't move, and so we sit there, all of us, and watch, eating Doritos.
If anything happens, it will be his fault.
Yes, I blame the guy from McDonald's.
Why couldn't he have just deleted the photo?
why couldn't he have just kept it to himself?
Why is it he felt so compelled to send it to others from his school?
What was it about the photo that freaks him out so much?
It really makes me angry, the senseless things people do. His mother should have taught him better. And if anything happens, if she then it will be his fault. I hope he realizes that. I hope he can live with the consequences.
Scarlett is missing. She has been missing for over 24 hours. We know this because the police officer who comes to our school tells us so. He wants to know if any of us have heard from her. She doesn't go to this school anymore. I or one of the other girls volunteer helpfully.
He's aware but thought perhaps some of us were still in touch with her. She's a St. Helens girl after all.
After all, St. Helens girls are friends for life.
He thinks she may have tried to kill herself, or have done so already. He doesn't say this in so many words.
He doesn't say this at all.
But we know, we are intelligent girls.
But what he doesn't tell us is that on Monday, after we saw her at McDonald's, everyone at her new school had seen the photo. But we know this too. We have Twitter.
He also doesn't tell us that she left behind a note. We can't remember how we know this.
There's a girl in Toronto who made a video before she killed herself. And it's one of the first times a suicide was widely reported. Normally they don't, because they don't want it influencing impressionable young people.
In case we get ideas.
Which is stupid, right? Because we're not so dumb that we'd kill ourselves just because some girl in the news did, right?
The girl in video. You can YouTube it with cards and stuff talking about her naked photo that got sent around and her tormentors. It's pretty grim. I thought Canadians were supposed to be nice. I'm not so sure anymore.
At lunch, I decided to go for a walk.
I decided to go home. I decided to eat by myself.
I can't explain it, but I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to see any of the girls.
At night, the news is showing her school photo. And I wish they stopped showing it!
The newsreaders keep asking, why this happened? Who's responsible? What caused this? When they really should be asking, why isn't she smiling in her photo?
Why are her eyes in the school photo saying help?
And my mother says, don't you know that girl?
And my mother says, didn't that girl go to St. Helens?
And my mother says, which one is birthday party was that?
And my mother says, wasn't that girl at our house once? My mother says, my mother says, my mother says, my mother says,
My mother says, isn't she one of your
my
friends?
mother says, my mother says.
Yes.
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 Yes. We take to Facebook and we write tributes.
We miss you, Scarlett.
Come back.
We miss your beautiful smile.
We miss your winning personality.
We miss your jokes.
Scarlett, if you're watching this, know that
And some of us are on TV. We miss your beautiful smile.
We miss your winning personality.
We miss your jokes.
If you're watching this,
And we cry, for real. I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. And I feel like I've been kicked in the face.
Because the screen switches to live footage at the river. It's dark and you can't really make it out, but then the newsreader says it erases any doubt.
They found a body.
Olivia is singing Let's Get Physical. When she kicks, I kick. And when she punches, I punch. And the afternoon is replaying in my mind, which only makes me kick higher, and my forehead sweat harder, and my heart pound faster. The year is 1985, and soon girls will run the world. Just wait till I tell the girls at school. I've only worked at Pierce, Richards, and Stanley for a week. My mother, she's nervous. They don't usually take on girls as young as me, but I want to be a lawyer. So my mom made some calls and got me this after-school gig a couple hours a week. I'm what you call a runner at the law firm, and runner is not a euphemism. From 4 to 6 p.m., I run between floors, delivering mail, delivering coffee, delivering photocopies, delivering staples and paper clips, delivering memos and faxes from the other floors. Lucky for me, Olivia's gotten me in shape, because some of the other girls who are a bit, well, let's just say they can't work as fast as me, which is why I don't think they like me very much. I'm raising expectations, one of them has told me. And us girls are supposed to stick together. But I can't help doing my job well, can I? I even bought a new outfit just for work. Work? How cool is that? And my friends are like, what are you doing after school today? You know, I'm just going to work to my law firm. And the girls tell me to stay out of Stanley's way. Stanley is his first name and his last name, which is just about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Unless they're just saying that to trick me. Well, I don't really care. So today, I've got to deliver these papers to Mr. Stanley's secretary. Only she's not there, so I knock on his door. The first thing he says is,
Wow, that is a great outfit. See, I always say it's important to dress for success.
that's what my mother says. I don't tell him this, obviously. I just say, thank you, sir. And this is where it gets really good. As I'm handing him his papers, he puts his hand on my waist, and he says,
What an efficient young woman you are. Well, put you to good use here.
I want to be a lawyer, sir. And his hand has suddenly slid further down my waist.
Well, this will certainly be a great experience for you then.
See, I thought so too, because you're supposed to be this amazing lawyer, but you seem not to know about any kind of employment law. He doesn't understand. See, this right here, this would be considered sexual harassment in the workplace, but you seem not to know that. Either you've assumed that because I'm wearing a pretty skirt, that's an invitation, or that I'm too young or naive to know otherwise. Either way, if you don't remove your hand from my firmly toned ass I'm glad you like my outfit. I'll be sure to wear it again soon. On my way out, I see the secretary's back. She's pretending to type on a Commodore 64, but I can see she's smiling. When my mother comes to pick me up from work, she asks me how my day was. I tell her fine, and she doesn't ask anything more. So I turn up the car radio. Hall and Oates are singing, ooh, a beauty is there, but a beast is in her heart. Watch out, boys, she's a man-eater. Oh, here she comes. Here she comes, indeed. The news doesn't show us any photos. They're not allowed to.
Might frighten us. We're only kids after all.
And the family unit, they haven't identified the body yet.
There are counselors in case any of us wants to talk, but the counselors haven't got a clue.
We don't want to talk. What we want is to forget.
We're in history, and we brought candles. Miss has let us reschedule the presentation for us today, and instead do some sort of visual.
And we stand in a circle holding candles, and we're each going to say a few words.
Except, no one does. Not one says any words.
And Miss says, would someone like to say something?
I would like to say something.
And it's like we've seen a ghost, because it's like we're 9 years old with the Ouija board or something, because standing there's Scarlet.
I can see her.
I can see her too.
And it's like, by being together, all the St. House girls, we brought forth the spirit of Scarlet into the room.
I would like to say something.
And it's like, it's almost like she's actually there.
Because she's actually there!
At about the same time, Scarlett's parents confirmed that the body found at the river is not that of their daughter.
I have something to say.
And at first I'm frightened, then I'm confused, then I'm actually angry. I feel like we've been duped.
We've been tricked.
We've shed tears, made tributes, lit candles, and for what?
I would like to do my presentation now.
And Miss is so bewildered that all she can say is, sure.
You have asked us to research the history of women in our family, which was especially difficult because my mother is not a sentimental. No photos or nothing, but through a combination of old shoe boxes at my nan's and books and newspapers from the New York Public Library, I can tell you all the following. My mother was one of only 5 female 100 FTSE chief executives. She did this, I assume, by donning shoulder pads and body checking any man who got in her way. Her mother, my nan, was a teacher, which doesn't tell me much about history, but when she was my age in the 60s, she marched with other women to make abortion legal, which was like a big deal. And she wore her hair in braids, and she had lots of sex, and nobody judged her for it. Except maybe her mother. Were she alive? But she and my great-grandmother died when British European Airway Flight 411 crashed on approach to Manchester from Amsterdam, which is ironic, because from 1944 to 45, my great-grandmother was a pilot during the war and delivered any planes that needed to be fixed, which was not that special of a job. She didn't drop any bombs or anything, but it was important, because she was doing a man's job, and men were bastards and didn't like women like my great-grandmother doing their jobs for them. And her mom, well, she was a long time ago, but her name was mentioned in an article in the Daily Mail for dancing to music and drinking cocktails in their swimsuits. I'm not sure why this pool party was so scandalous, but the man who wrote the article in the Daily Mail said that they didn't like that women were dancing to music or drinking cocktails in their swimsuits. So maybe things haven't really changed, because the Daily Mail still doesn't like that women are dancing to music or drinking cocktails, but they do like women in swimsuits. Basically, I've learned that throughout history there were always men who were assholes who made things shit for the women. But things have changed for my generation. Because for me, it wasn't so much that the guys were the assholes. It was that the women became the assholes that the guys used to be. I used to ask myself every night, why? Why? What did I ever do to you? And I would picture myself coming back here 25 years from now for a school reunion with my beautiful husband and my Armani suit and my beautiful handbags and my beautiful children, and you all would see me and say, Scarlet, Scarlet, and I would look at you and I would say, I'm sorry. I don't recognize you. I don't recognize any of you. And then I'd leave. But as I sat on the packed subway in New York, nobody recognized me. No one laughed.
whispered, and I realized that you are all nothing. There is a big bad world out there where St. Helens, it means nothing. There is a big bad world that is just ready to swallow you all up, and when it swallows up you lot, it will spit you right back up. Because you are indigestible girls. That is the kind of girls that you are. You are food poisoning. And the world will know that you are girls like that, and you will be alone. Together, but alone. You see? I will forget you. I have forgotten you because I am not a St. Helens girl. She will never forget me. After all, you still have my photo to remember me by.
After a moment, we realized what was still in a circle holding red candles.
And the year's over, and now we must go our separate ways.
Well, not me. Me and Farley are the girls who are going to the same college. We're going to be roommates, which is going to be,
Oh God, what if I am free too?
it's going to be actually amazing. We see each other when we wake up, when we go to bed.
Oh God.
It's the last day of school, and so we run around and send messages on each other's yearbooks.
Remember when? Friends forever. Will always be. I write. Will always be. I'm supposed to write. Friends. I'm supposed to write. Keep in touch. But I can't. Because I know it isn't true. Just like these girls running around with their marker pens are not. I suddenly realize are not my friends. So I leave it. Will always be.
I don't go. For the whole last week since Scarlet, I haven't gone in. I have this restlessness in my stomach like I'm pregnant, which I'm not. Which is not the Immaculate Conception. Unless it is. Maybe I'm being punished. Maybe she's put a curse on me or something.
I write these emails where, well, I don't actually send them, but I write them. You know, I'm not a bad person. I'm not Trisha Paytas or Simon Cowell. I'm just a girl.
I'm moving to Canada. My mother's gone apeshit. Thinks I've totally lost it. Not even like city Canada, like actual Canada. Like I'm going to live on a reserve with indigenous people and go ice fishing with no internet and no cell reception. I'm going to live in an igloo. What will you do for money? My mother wants to know. I won't need money because I'll trade in furs and hunt for my food. It's just something I need to do.
I've accidentally been assigned a dorm with all boys instead of girls for September. I explained to my mom that I called. It's too late. They can't change it. I never actually called.
I start crying out of nowhere, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm just like sad. You're leaving all the girls. I started a Facebook group just for St. Helens girls. No one else is allowed. So we can stay in touch.
I lift up my shirt and take a photo of myself in the mirror. I don't know why. I just do it. And then delete it.
I die. Oh, not actually. Like Facebook death. I delete my account, my photos, everything.
When my head's dead, Fox got her. And it's weird because she was like the mother hen, the one in charge, but obviously the fox didn't give a shit about the pecking order. Which is kind of defeats the whole purpose. That's it.
And something has changed. I look at the signatures in my yearbook to figure out who still needs to sign. And it's like, I recognize the names, but I don't know them. Does that make sense? And when did everything change? I try to rewind, replay, and find that moment in my head when everything changed. When I decided I no longer want to hang around girls like that. I can't find it. The video has been deleted or violated user agreements. It doesn't exist.
And I want to take
they do this? It's why a group of boys are laughing, jumping, running on each other in just their underwear.
Us girls sign yearbooks. The boys run around half naked. It's like in our DNA somewhere.
And this proves for me what Miss left out of history. While us women have had more access to intelligence over the generation, boys have just become more stupid.
I'm not even jealous. I want to run over and join them instead of just standing here with a marker pen. I think about doing it right now. Just strip off, go over there and join them, but I've gone too far. And they're gone. And I've missed my chance.
A photo! Gather round! The St. Helens girls. My mom told me these girls are my friends for life. One final photo to use for the Facebook page.
Yes, a photo of Smiles and her arm around her shoulders.
And her arm around her shoulders.
And her arm around her waist and her arm around her.
But someone isn't here today with stomach cramps.
And someone's walking away to the bathroom.
And someone says this is stupid.
And someone says she doesn't want to be in the photo. She'll take it. Which defeats the purpose because it has to be all of us.
And somebody says, well, it's not going to be all of us anyway. Like, it's my fault. And I don't know what she means by that. Like, what does she mean by that?
Like, would it kill her to be in a photo?
And those of us who are just standing here with our arms around someone's waist just start looking kind of dumb because no one's taking the photo.
So she takes her arm off her waist.
And she takes her arm off her waist.
And the moment is gone. And there will not be a photo, which is actually really frustrating. Because we will look back on this moment and we will not remember it because we won't have a photo, which is just a wasted opportunity, really.
I don't get why some of the girls have to spoil it for the rest of us. Why can't they just go along and be a team player? There's always a few who have to stand apart from the crowd to feel individual, which is pretty pathetic if you ask me.
Girls like that ruin it for everyone.
Bitches.
Sluts.
So I just start snapping photos.
But then,
It falls! Breaks.
which is called foreshadow, or pathetic fallacy, or something. I don't know. All I know is that I will never be with all the girls together again.
I'm with all the girls together again.
They're in the dining hall.
25-year-olds are singing.
Sleigh bells ring. Are you listening?
We are 45 years old. We are at St. Helens. They are tearing down the school, building a fresh new, state-of-the-art, all the bells and whistles, blah, blah.
And so all the St. Helens girls are invited to come to a reunion of sorts.
It's about 200 in all. Everyone from our year has made an appearance. It's nice to see old faces because despite our best intentions, well, life gets in the way, doesn't it?
And I'm not sure how I've come. I can't believe I've come. Maybe out of curiosity? Maybe like I'll send all the unsent emails I've written over the years.
Maybe to see her interest, like she promised.
And after the current reception class finishes singing, we have time to wrap
So remember that guy we used to like, Robert or Roger? I can't remember, but apparently one of the girls ran into him, and he's fat and bald and works in IT.
My daughter who used to have lots of parties now has a much younger boyfriend who is now a model. Go figure.
And it's like nothing's changed. It's like we're 16 again, except I have a 16-year-old daughter.
My daughter's 10.
I had my tubes tied.
Mine are 12 and 13. Can I fast forward, please?
Mine are all boys. I still don't know what to do with them. Mine are at the age where I ask them how school was, and all I get is fine. I've stopped trying to get more out of them. It's futile.
I look around for Scarlett, but she's not there. I don't think so anyways.
And as we're heading to the parking lot, I look over and see reception girls playing in the playground. But something's wrong.
Someone has built a snowman, but someone's trying to destroy a toy.
And I wonder if I should intervene. Should say something. But what should I
without planning, without saying a word, the 5-year-old girls start to link arms. All 18 of them.
Making a barrier between the boy and the snowman.
Her arm and her arm. 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 Her arm and her arm.
And then one of them speaks, the smallest of the group.
Girls gotta stick together. Think you can break through us, boy? Go on, just you try.
Technical difficulties. All right. So this first one is for Zach. He's the...
Zach is not a player. He did this out of the goodness of his heart, and we're just so
good
grateful
at
for
it,
him.
This second bouquet is for Satina. I think that's dedication. Come on.
So this third bouquet is for Wesley. Wesley heads sound, and he always lets me DJ before the show. So.
Always gonna miss you.
So these next flowers are for. Sorry.
I'm always gonna miss you messing us with the sound effects in the middle of rehearsal.
So I've known Wesley for a very, very long time. And it's crazy to me how committed he is to the show. He's put in so much hours, like more than me, like it's crazy. And so I just like, he really needs to be recognized.
Sorry to Luther, but this next person is one of our fantastic stage managers, Simon Holland. And hours in the sunlight, he has spent countless hours making endless spreadsheets for us. And he's one of the best stage managers and a best friend a person could ask for, and we couldn't have done this without you.
Okay,
is for someone who I was not very close to last year, or really at the beginning of this year, who has quickly become one of my favorite people in the whole wide world, and she really rose to the occasion and stepped up for this show.
We had someone suffering COVID in the show, and it was kind of difficult to keep moving, but she really stepped up in ways that she did not have to do, and like we really all appreciate her for that.
She's one of the funniest people in the world, and she really brings like a really good energy to the show backstage and when we were rehearsing through the whole process.
She's an absolutely amazing stage manager and very, very close to my heart. So, without further ado, please welcome
Okay, so next up we have Eliza. Wonderful assistant director. Her vision made this show become what it is. She blocked some of the scenes, and she really just helped us get to know our characters and ourselves. So.
Weston and Luther have known each other, but I've known you for a while, and you've just always been so wonderful and great, and I'm so glad you get to work with us.
One more person. Last but not least. This person has been absolutely incredible to work with and is one of the sweetest people I've ever met. And without her, this would not be a show. None of this would have happened. So.
And she created an absolute safe space for us to discuss whatever we would like, and she was just wonderful and always there for us while working on the show.
One more special announcement to someone who could not be here today, but our wonderful sponsor, Miss Fallon Gundy. She fully brought this show together from day one to today. She couldn't be here today, but she's amazing if you have her or know her. So yeah, one more round of applause for her.